Hello and welcome to the Munce Report for this week as we delve into all the latest news from the Munce racing camp. Trainer Chris Munce joins us as usual after another positive week of results, including an impressive display by the first two-year-olds to step out for the stable on Sunday in BERDINI'S Girl and Rhapsody Rose. Welcome, mate. You must have been really delighted with the way that those two fillies performed on debut on Sunday.
Yeah. Hi, Adam. No, they went really well, those two fillies. I thought they'd actually both trialled pretty well leading up into it as well. I hadn't sort of put a lot of pressure on them. They they only had one little gallop before they went to the first trials they went to, and they just kept on improving and they held together. And BERDINI'S Girl, she's just got the kindest nature of any filly I've had anything to do with, and was just a real little pro. So it was good to see her win. And the other filly, Rhapsody Rose, well, she's a very exciting filly, still learning a lot about what it's all about. You can see in her action, she's very extravagant, but she's got loads of ability, and we'll just give them a couple of easy days, a week in the paddock now, just to clear their heads before assessing where we go with them.
And BERDINI'S Girl, obviously the first winner for Odyssey Moon Stallion. So there's lots of discussion about that post-race on social media. And just talk us through, you picked her out at the Inglis sale, and obviously it's been a quick turnaround to then get her to the races. Although you have touched on previously, you have had a bit of a different approach with the two-year-olds, and you've just let them tell you when the time's right.
Yeah, well, I mean, she was actually found by a very good friend of mine, Arthur Hoyer, who was in Sydney at the Classic Sale, and he actually found her for me and suggested I go and have a look at her. And basically, I saw the same as what he did. She was a lovely filly, and I was actually quite surprised. I didn't have to go more than what I did to buy her, but she was very cheap at the time, and now after her win, you can see the prices went through the roof at the English Classics at the Ready to Run sale last week. So I think he's a promising stallion, and I think the offspring will do well.
Might be looking for a few more there. So have you, obviously the dust is sort of still settling on their debut runs, but have you mapped out plans for those two babies, two-year-olds moving forward?
Well, look, it's all pie in the sky stuff, but I mean, she is eligible for that Millennium race in Sydney, BERDINI'S Girl. Look, then whether she gets there or not, I don't know, but I think I'll give her one more start here, and then we'll put her away and probably look to just maybe target that race if we think she's going good enough. And if she's not, well, look, there's plenty of races up here over the winter she can run in. She's not Magic Millions, she's not Cutest, so really we can just sort of pick and choose where we want to run her. On the other hand, Rhapsody Rose, she is Magic Millions. She's obviously still got a fair bit of prize money to earn to get in the race, but we've still got a lot of water to go under the bridge yet as well. So I think we'll give her a little bit longer in the paddock, and then just probably target a few of the better races with her. And look, if she happens to qualify in one of them races, beautiful. But if not, well, she can wait for another day.
Yeah, exciting times, and I'm sure the ownership groups were delighted with the prices offered on both for their debut runs, and it's exciting to see what's in store for them next. It's also an exciting weekend coming up. You've got a group of inform horses all heading to various meetings over the weekend. You've got runners heading to the Sunshine Coast Friday night, Doomben on Saturday, the Gold Coast on Saturday, and the Sunshine Coast on Sunday. Let's kick off with the Sunshine Coast Friday night. One runner heading there with DEGAS resuming for his big group of owners in a benchmark 70 over the 1,200 metres with Justin Huxtable to ride. We touched on him last week. You've waited sort of for the right race for him.
Yeah, well, look, he's a nice galloper, this guy, and he is itching to get to the races. He's very, very well in himself. He drew poorly last weekend, hence the reason we didn't scratch, and then all the scratchings turned out it was only a small field. But having said that, this race on Friday night, I think it's a nice race to kick him off in. He's probably a little bit above himself, but he's ready to go the races, and I'm sure he'll acquit himself very well. He's a nice galloper, but certainly whatever he does on Friday night, there's still a lot of improvement left in him fitness-wise.
Sure, and then we head to Doomben on Saturday. 3 last start winners all heading to Doomben on a Saturday, which is in a good spot to be. So there's KAVAK, Unguarded and Widespread. Let's take a look at KAVAK. So he steps up to a Cutest 3-year-old for the Colts and Geldings handicap there. Obviously coming off a good strong win first up, and back to, I guess, the usual company that he's familiar with from his 2-year-old days. Yeah,
and look, he's up to 1,200. He's had a bit of time in between runs, but he's held his condition really well, this horse. In my opinion, I think he's improved since his first up win. I think he'd probably have to going into a race like this. But I think the fact he's drawn well, although he's got 59 kilos, it's only 1,200 metres, and good horses can carry weight around on short trips. So I think he should be able to carry the weight all right. And Larry seems to have a bit of a knack with him. He's galloped him and trialled him, and he knows the horse well. So I think the horse in good order, and it looks a nice race for him, I feel, on Saturday.
Yeah, exciting to see him back in this grade. We then move over to race 7, which is a Class 6 plate over the 1350, where Unguarded, who was a huge win last start from back in the pack, obviously drawn a bit wide here, but does that matter all that much with her sort of racing pattern of getting back?
Oh, look, it's not ideal. I mean, you'd always prefer to draw 1 barrier than 13 barrier any day of the week. But look, I think she is a back marker. She'll probably get back a little bit, and I think Larry's just going to have to ride a smart race from there. He knows he can't make a long sustained run on her, and he's going to need a lot of luck. But I think if he does happen to get that ounce of luck in the straight, I've got no doubt she'll be finishing off strong like what she did the other day. But certainly the barrier has made her job that little bit more difficult. So we're just going to have to hopefully pray for a good ride from Larry, and that we get an ounce of luck in the straight.
How's she come on since that win? Obviously, it was her first Metro win, and sort of, I guess, the result justified, your belief of her ability. How's she come on since then?
Yeah, really well. And it's funny because Larry galloped her a couple of times, and he can just tell the difference. She's a different filly on race day to what she is at track work. She's quite a casual track worker, but on race day she just picks herself up and goes to another level. So look, she's a nice mare. This really good galloper, and like I say, she can win the race, but she's going to need a good deal of luck in running.
And she actually worked with Widespread earlier on in the week, their sort of last final hit out. What did you make of that piece of work, which obviously then dovetails into Widespread, who's the last runner on the program?
Yeah, well, this horse he's been a really welcome addition to the stable. I mean, he won first up for us, and he certainly hasn't gone backwards since then. I think the fact that he's drawn well on Saturday, there looks to be a bit of speed in the race, but he's a pretty adaptable horse. He can be wherever we want him to be, really. But this horse, he hasn't gone backwards by any stretch of the imagination. So I'd expect him to be very competitive in a race like this.
And you obviously bought him in mind from the Magic Millions tried horse sale from the Godolphin draft as a Saturday sort of Metro prospect. So I guess you're straight in here, and I guess it's a good chance to see how he measures up.
That's right. And I mean, we'd only gave him the 1 trial. He'd only had the 1 trial leading into the Sunshine Coast, and then we've given him a little bit of time then since his first up win to now, so to give him a good chance to get over it. So I think the further he goes, the better he's going to be. I think I'm really looking forward to get him up to 1,400 or even a mile later on down the track. But look, he's drawn very well on Saturday, and he's just a lovely horse to have in the stable.
Very good, mate. Well, that's the Doomben runners, and then over to the Gold Coast on Saturday. 2 runners heading down the M1 Iconista races in a fillies and mares benchmark 62 handicap over the 1,400 metres. Obviously representing the Henderson colours there, and she resumed with a pretty decent third at Ipswich last start. What did you make of that run?
Yeah, I think that Ipswich is a bit of a bugbear for this mare. She's had 2 runs there now, and I know she ran third the other day, but I probably expected her to race a bit better than what she did. So I'm really going to try and avoid that track if I can with her, because I just don't think she handles it at all. But having said that, she's in good order. Had 2 nice trials leading into a first up run, hence the reason I thought she'd probably be very hard to beat first up. But she wasn't then. But she's had a bit of time off now. And I really think that if she can get the right sort of run from a bit of a tricky draw, I think that she'll be hitting the line quite well. It does look an overly strong race, and the 1,400 I think is just a nice trip for her.
Okay, and the other run on the program is Royal Sheen. Poor old Royal Sheen. If he's not getting scratched at the barriers, he's drawing wide barriers, and he's drawn gate 16 here in the Colts Geldings and Entires benchmark 62 over the 1,400 metres. But he was a pretty good run last start, also, wasn't he?
I thought he went very well. It was a good class race. He was on speed. He did all the hard work, and he still managed to run third. So I think from that awkward draw, he's probably going to have no option but to go back on him a little bit. I think there'll be too much speed for him to be putting him up in the speed battle. I'd probably rather see him get back like he did first up and run on. I thought that day was a terrific run. So we'll probably look to ride him that way on Saturday. And if he gets the right sort of luck in running, he'll be getting home pretty hard, I would have thought.
Okay, very good. And then 4 runners are all accepted for the Sunshine Coast on Sunday. Acceptances have just come out, so obviously you're probably still getting your head around some of these wide barriers for some of the runners, but let's go through them. Super Bowl Sunday is entered for a Class 5 handicap over 1,300 metres. He represents the Henderson colours there as well, and he's had a month between runs, but was in form this prep, prior to that sort of month between runs.
Yeah, I thought we got him out to a mile there a month ago, and I just felt he struggled at that sort of 1,400 mile trip. So thought I'd bring him back, freshen him up a little bit, and just look for a nice race for him around that sort of 1,300 metre, not past 1,400. I mean, he's a schnitzel, but I just felt he wasn't as strong as what he should have been at the end of those mile races. So hence the reason we're back in distance. We've freshened him up. I've got to do the form a bit more closely for Sunday yet, because he does also have a few other options coming up in the next few weeks, 10 days for races that are suitable for him. And, if I think he's not going to get the right sort of run, we might just wait for another day with him. But he's come back very well, and he's freshened up nicely.
Okay, very good. Race 3 is a fillies and mares maiden plate over the 1,400 metres, where Thrasher has drawn barrier 8 with Ben Thompson to ride. She resumes here and is a filly that showed you a lot of ability as a 2-year-old.
Very nice filly, this, but she's very quirky. She's a sort of, she gets herself very, very worked up unnecessarily, and she just needs to learn to relax and steady her mindset down a bit, because she's got loads of ability. Her work on Tuesday morning was very, very good. So she'll probably get back a little bit in the run, as she normally does. But her biggest issue before was not jumping cleanly, but she seems to have mended her ways. We sent her down to Fenwick Farm for a bit of barrier education and sent to do the trick with her. She jumped a lot better in a trial the other day. So look, I would just tell Ben to let her jump herself and let her be wherever she wants to be, and we'll have a look at her. And just as long as she's hitting the line at the end of the race, I'll be very happy to see her be closing off, because I do think she's a staying type filly. So it's we'll be just a bit of a suck and see there on Sunday to see how she finishes off.
Okay, sure. Yeah, interesting to see how she goes. Then we move over to race 4, which is a Colts, Geldings and Entice maiden plate over the 1,400s. You've got 2 runners entered here. KARAYER, who is third up and looks suited by the step up to the 1,400 metres. And then The Landing, who's a flashy chestnut who everyone won't miss, and he makes his debut.
Yeah, well, KARAYER, he's just drawn a little bit awkward, so he's another one. I've just got to do the form a little bit closer with him, whether I run or not, because he too has a few options available to him in the next 10 days over Melbourne Cup and next weekend. So it may well be that I wait with him, because he is going quite well. He'll race with the addition of blinkers next start. He worked with them quite strongly, so they'll be on him next time out. The Landing, he's a very nice horse. He's still very immature mentally. Got loads of ability, but he's another one. He can get himself a bit worked up unnecessarily, and in my opinion, he's still got a little bit to learn about his job at hand and racing. But that's only going to come with experience, and the more we get him out and racing, the more he'll improve.
Very good. And obviously, Michael Murphy's been working closely with him as you guys trying to educate him and get his mind on the job. So he takes the ride, so he knows the horse well too. Yeah,
well, he does. I mean, Michael's put a lot of hard work into him, because he's a bit of a handful to ride. So I thought it was deserved that he's put all the hard work in, that he can have a ride on the horse, and hopefully he can do Michael proud.
Very good. All right, well, that's the runners' preview for the weekend. We can't let you go without asking for a Cox Plate tip. It's obviously a race you've had an affinity with, and a big weekend of racing. We probably should have asked you one for the Caulfield Cup as well last week, but we missed that. So what do you like in the Cox Plate, mate? It's an open race.
Oh, geez, isn't it? What, Adam? I mean, look, Humidor, he loves the track. He's going well, I think, Humidor. I also thought the West Australian mare, Arcadia Queen. I thought Arcadia Queen, she's a chance in the race. And I also thought the one that Glenn Boss is riding, he's a chance in the race as well. So, look, you could probably pick 5 or 6 horses and not pick the winner. But, I mean, I think they're probably the 3 that if I had a choice, I'd be happy to ride any one of those 3.
Very good. All right, little something for the trifectas and first 4 players there with those few anyway. So good luck to the runners over the weekend. Good luck to Connections, and all the best.
Good on you. Thanks, Adam.